Hi, fellow traders. I hope everybody had a great day today. Man, we're right on the edge of earnings season, and it seemed like it took forever to get here. It seems like this last month just drug on and on and on, and we would never get to this last earnings season. But we're here. We'll see some stocks report tomorrow. A lot of financial stocks, but Wednesday is the day for me. For me, Wednesday is the big day. But I'm going to talk to you about earnings and what I've already got out there that can help you prepare. I've already shared, how I trade earnings, but I'll kind of review that here in a second. But let me share this thought that I had with you. I shared this in chat this morning. When a child is learning how to walk and constantly falls down, he or she never thinks that walking isn't for them. We must bring that same mindset into trading. We can't think about all the times we fall down and say, well, because we've fallen down so much, maybe this isn't for us. That's not the reason to quit. If you started this journey, if you invested in this, and you have a vision of whatever your vision is. Now, for me, it's my family. It's uplifting my family and doing things for them and putting us in a better position. So however you view these things, we have to keep working at it. We just can't quit and say, hey, this isn't what I thought. It has to be bigger. Your why has to be bigger than that. So if we have that same mindset, every time we fall, it may hurt, but we're going to learn what not to do. We're going to learn what not, figure out what made us fall in the first place and not do it over and over and over again. We may do it 2 or 3 times. We may do it different ways, but eventually we're going to learn from it and we're going to grow and we're going to keep moving. So that's the mindset that I believe we really need to bring into trading. All right, so I'm going to talk about the earnings things here in a minute, but I just want to go over this trade from the day. This was the dumbest trade. I have a strategy for breaking news. I do. Honestly, I do. And I've shared it. It's part of the day trading class. But this is not it. Okay, this is looks like FOMO to me. And I don't know if it was a product of just sitting around and not having anything to trade, and then walking in and hearing the breaking news on Benzinga about HOG, and just thinking to myself, oh, this is bad news. This thing is going to tank. And knowing that that's not the way none of this works. It doesn't matter what we think. It doesn't matter how we interpret the news. What matters is how the market interprets the news. So I ran over here, typed in something, I can't even remember what I typed, and said, I'm getting in here. I'm looking for it. It's probably going to pull back and reject the 200, and I'll be looking for it to come on back down. But that's not the strategy here. The strategy is letting this initial move happen. Wait for profit taking. You're gonna get a bounce. Wait for that, and then catch the continuation move. That's the way I trade breaking news. Trying to chase it down. Sometimes it works, but most of the time it's not. And it never really set up. It never set up for an entry. Here's the bounce. As we came back through the 200 and we closed below it, We never got a candle to make a new low. The trigger to enter would be on this on breaking this low here. Never happened. I even held it too long, waiting to stop out. Should have stopped out right here, on this candle right here, and just let it go. But just all in all, I don't know if that SES and all of that had me kind of jumpy, or what made me make a bad decision here. Whatever it is, it was bad. Got to take responsibility for it. But this is what I talk about all the time. You know, I have a strategy. It just didn't get executed. That was the whole point. I did not execute it properly. And so ended up taking this loss, 204.32, and got to walk away from that. Didn't want to start the week off in the hole. Didn't want to dig that. But we should have a pretty decent week going forward. Tomorrow may not be the best day for me. And we'll look at that here in a second. But this week should produce. And this should be a distant memory here. I just put the SES chart in here because I want to keep it. I like just kind of keeping these, especially these big runners. I just like to keep it so that if I ever want to go back and look at them, you know, I'll have them cataloged in my journal. So, but you can see really nice move. You know, these can give you false confidence. You know, really could give you false confidence. So I don't trade small cap stocks. I don't trade low float stocks. This one was a small cap. This one had just over 1 million share float. And then on top of that, Suretrader had it on 100% margin restriction. If Suretrader puts it on margin restriction, you can damn well bet that stock is sketchy. And I'm staying as far away from it as I can. That's I may be completely wrong in thinking that, but that's how I think, and it keeps me from trading this stuff. Now, yeah, you probably could have made money on this. I know people that lost money because they kept buying at the top of the bounce. They bought here and then got stopped out. Bought here, got stopped out. Bought here, took some profit, and then stopped out, but still lost all this and never got back in. And when they did get back in, they got in up here. So it's just something this is never an itch that I have to scratch. So I just tend to stay away from them. But I do keep the charts so that I can refer back to them, and I could, if I wanted to bring them all together, like BPTH, I think that was the last one, and then there was one. There's always one every so many months, but I don't plan on even trading them at all. Okay, NKE, if you guys were with me Sunday morning, or you watched the replay of it, the session, it's always in the member video session. I mean, the swing trade page on the website. It's always there. It's the same icon. I just update the link. So you click on it, the link will take you to the video for that week. But we talked about my NKE and what happened. I told it that the plan was to add once we broke the 52-week high. So we broke the 52-week high, and I added 300 more shares. So I'm just adding in lots of 300. I got one more add that I can do, or I may just start taking profit over 98. You know, I'm looking for 100, but I will lock in profit along the way. So let's take a look at, this is the first trade. This was the 52-week high break here. I got in. We only made a little push up, and then I ended up selling it. The proper stop on this, I'm looking at the chart, and the chart tells you what to do. The proper stop on this was right here, right below 90. So when I got in the trade, I should have made sure that I had enough room. And I could have, even with the 500 shares here, I could have given it this much room, but I didn't. And had I given it, I still would have been in this same position. I probably could have added and would have done a better job adding. But I ended up stopping out. And I got upset because I stopped out and ended up getting in again. This is no setup. But I just started building a position because I'm thinking this is going to 100. Again, just like today, I start visualizing what this is going to do. But you can't do that. You can't predict what the your personal view on a stock. You have to trade what the market is telling you. And I didn't really do that here, but I did add on the break of the 52-week high. So that was the only thing according to plan. So I've added 3 times here. And again, like I said, I can add 1 if we get up through 96 or the 97. I can add. But if I don't, I can start taking profit. But I still see this based on the technical analysis and what I know about stocks that have been in this position that I'm expecting it to run to 100. But that's kind of where I'm at on this. Didn't take any new swings today. The market was a little bit iffy, so I just kind of stayed away from that. So that's where I am on this swing deal. Now for earnings, there's a couple things you could do. Now for me, I don't scan at night because I only want the stocks that are moving that morning. I used to scan at night. I used to have a nice little watch list, but then half of them never had volume. So it was a waste of my time going through all of that. So if it's in play, it's going to be in play in the morning. It's going to have volume. It's going to have a gap. And then I'll be able to vet it and find that tradable range. So one of the things you could use is going to be Twitter. Earnings Whispers they're specifically focused on earnings. So they put out a nice calendar at the beginning of the week that has the stocks that are the most anticipated earnings releases. These are more likely the ones that we're going to trade. Some of them we don't. Some of them are just garbage, but most of them we are able to trade. And I've been sharing this with you every now and then. But Earnings Whispers, you could follow them on Twitter. You get all of this, and then they break it down by every day. Right here, these are the most volatile earnings releases. So this one is all of the stocks that are reporting in the morning. They'll lay it out and they do this every day or the night before. So you can have a good idea of what stocks are reporting. So it's good to follow them if you don't. I do go to their website. I do have a subscription because I am a professional trader. I use this information. I have an aftermarket earning strategy. So I need to do some research. And when I send the earnings videos, the emails out to you guys, I'm getting all of the information from here. And then the news articles I send, I'll show you where I get them from. But if you're just trading earnings in the morning like we do, the only thing you need is a scanner. That's it. That's all you need. And you're gonna want to filter these stocks out. Here's FinViz. Now I use FinViz every morning as well, and FinViz has a nice screener. So let's say you want to know what stocks are reporting in the morning. So you just go to earnings date. You go to screener, go to earnings date. Tomorrow before market opens, and it's going to give you all the stocks that are going to report tomorrow before the open. And then you can filter these out. Obviously, you don't want stocks that have no volume. No, this one has 35,000 shares. This is not going to be in play. So you can filter out by average volume. So over 500K would be good. So it took out 2. We're down to 9. And anything that you want to go through, if you don't want a low float stock, or if you want stocks that have a high current volume. So if you want to go over 1 million, it's only going to give you the stocks over 1 million. You can see the ones, change this around, you can see the one that has the most volume. But what I'm doing is I'm looking at stocks that, let's say that morning, but I don't look at these at night. I look at these in the morning. I used to look at these at night, but I don't anymore. I just wait until the morning, because that's when I let the market tell me what stocks are in play that day. I'm not going to find and say, I love this, and I come in and I force it on the market, and it makes no sense. So I wait until the next morning. But you can see there's only one that I'll probably look at. I don't trade financial stocks. It's a personal decision that I just don't trade these. But healthcare, this one, maybe if it has volume in the morning, I'll be on it. But we'll see what happens in the morning. But what I do is I use FinViz. I don't use this to scan, but you can use it to scan for earnings plays. You can use the earnings whispers. You can use FinViz. All I do is I look for news articles related to earnings. So here's one that came out this morning. It's has to do with earnings. And I'll just look in the last week or two. Is there anything about earnings? Anything about guidance? Because as you know, it doesn't matter whether you beat on earnings or not. What matters is guidance. That's what's going to drive the stock. Because too many times we've had stocks that have reported good earnings, good revenue, but went down. And it went down because the guidance is bad. They're looking at, where is this stock going to be 6 months from now? And if it's going to be down, if they anticipate it to be down in 6 months, the stock's going to tank. So again, we're just waiting to see what the market is going to tell us. That's what we're waiting to see. Now in the morning, and I've gone through this in the last week, I have the last couple of weeks, I've shared with you my strategy, the opening range strategy. I mean, like I said, they're professional traders that make a living just off the opening range. Now, obviously, they trade it bigger. They have a different process that they go by, but it's a really legit strategy. And does it work every time? No. It only work. It's only as good as the person trading it and the stock that you pick. that's just the way it is. But what I do is I've got an earnings scanner here. And this is going to bring up all the stocks that are reporting on earnings that are up, all the ones that are down. But my ORB scan, as you know, it filters through these so that it's only giving me the ones that meet my parameters. And you can go back through the video for the opening range trades. It gives you all of the parameters and everything. But these are the ones that I vet. I pull up the daily chart. I look to see where the levels are. Does it have enough room to move? Does it make sense? If it doesn't, then we skip it. We move on. So that's how I get, filter through all of these earnings. Because some mornings you're going to have 20, 25 stocks reporting earnings. How are you going to choose the one that you're going to look at to trade that morning? So that's where the gray area comes in. And that's based on how, what stock you trade, what stock you pick. Are you going to pick the right one? So that's where the stress comes in. And then you just execute once the market opens. But you'll see it. You guys will see it live if you that are new, that are just joining me in the community. You'll see it live every day. You'll see how we react. And then Wednesday, we'll start on the secondary strategy. And this is all a part of the process. Now, I love trading stocks on earnings. We have the opening range strategy, which is designed to be within the first 30 minutes or so. And then after that, we have a trend continuation strategy. That's the one we're going to start with. And that you should be able to trade the rest of the day. And we also had a reversal strategy in which some of these do reverse. And we have that set up that we could take advantage of. So we're covering all of these three strategies right now at the beginning of earnings season, because that's when you're going to see all of these put into play. All right, so let's get ready for tomorrow. It's going to, kick off a little bit tomorrow. Like I said, you see all of these financial stocks are reporting. I don't trade those, just personal preference. But we do have one that I know of that can potentially give us a trade. But tomorrow should be a lot more interesting than we have had in the last couple of days, last couple of weeks. So you guys have a great night, great evening, and I will see you first thing in the morning.